Hey Marcus, can you hear me? Hold on one second. Mic check. Can you hear me, Marcus?
Yep.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. I think I can hear you now. Okay, great. All right. We are actually looks like okay, so I'm gonna go live on IG. First time using Restream, so thank you for joining me and bearing with me as I get all this.
Nah, all good.
All right, cool. Let me put my screen down here. Okay, I think this is all being recorded as part of the stream, but now let me hit go live on Instagram. All right, I think that's happening. And then YouTube should be going live as well. Okay, cool. Think it's happening everywhere. All right. Marcus, how are you?
Oh, I see it. I'm
You
looking at
see
it right
it?
now.
Hey, excited. First
I
time for
wonder if I can add
everything.
this to mine. No?
Hold on. Let me see if on IG.
It's making me share, but it's not I can't come on there as like a collab or have it pop up on my
Gotcha.
live feed.
Morning, folks. Morning. People are saying, let's see, can they hear us? Okay, let me try on my phone if I can. And
I
this is
can hear
all.
you.
Oh, you can hear me. Oh, they can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, coolio.
Yeah, it says okay.
Um,
I'm good now. All right.
all right,
It's a
cool.
delay for sure.
Yeah, and I can. I don't think I can add from Restream, but all right, I will invite you to collab once the video posts. All right.
Or
Cool. It looks like we're good and clear. All right. So we have folks jumping on, and this is happening
hold
live,
on, let me see if
folks.
I can
We figured it out
I
in
can
real
share
time.
it. Season like is it saying I can share? No, it's not. Oh well. You know what I'll do? I'll go to my stories and post it.
Okay.
Let's see. Um
And then once the video is fully posted
uh,
live on IG, I'll invite you to collaborate on it. Hello, folks. Hello, folks.
about the ZR now. And then I'll post the link, bam, and boom. All right, what up? All right, what up?
First of all, thank you for joining me this morning. I appreciate it. I know you got a lot going on. You got a whole family, a whole freelance life, a whole kid, a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, they'll be all right.
So for my audience or people who aren't familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit just about yourself, what you do, how long you've been in the game, and what you typically shoot on?
Oh, cool. So anybody that didn't know, my name is Marcus. I go by Marcus Art Films on Instagram. Currently I am a documentary slash corporate, whatever you want to call it, videographer, director of photography, all the things. But my primary bread and butter is like corporate interview messaging and documentary. So I've been doing this I would say full time for 8 years. Collectively, starting off in broadcast first at my church, starting off that way for about 12 years altogether.
Mm, nice, that's what's
Yep.
up. Okay.
Oh, you said what I shoot on. What I
Yeah.
currently shoot on is the Red Komodo X, um, and the Nikon ZR, Nikon Z8. Those are the cameras I own, but I'm not limited to those. I We just did like a 1 week project shooting on the FX6, the FX3. I'm kind of well versed to shooting on everything, so I got experience on probably any camera you can name.
Gotcha, but safe to say your main go-to is the Red and the Nikon. That's the world that you live in, breathe.
Yeah, right now that right now that's my current world. More been shooting more on a ZR and Z8 lately, and kind of leaving the Komodo in the case.
That's very, very
Yeah,
interesting to hear. So the small and the portable is what's easier, what you're grabbing more so.
yeah. I went through a large portion of my career thinking bigger is better, and
Mm,
having the big crews and the big things and the big rigs, and thinking that it impress clients. Um, and then I started thinking like, I already got the job. Like I'm here already. So like having a bigger camera just so they can be like, ooh, wow, I'm not making any additional money for that rig. So I'm killing myself just trying to live into that whole bigger is better thing. And I'm like, the image is the image. So if I can reduce and minimalize my setup, which minimalizes my setup time, um, and it also minimizes the breakdown time. I can get in quicker, I can set up quicker, and I can get out.
nice. I love that, I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way whenever I can bring out the FX3 and the FX2 and the FX30. I'm gonna take that first over the FX6, but if I know I'm in a setting where there's gonna be, like, lots of windows and I wanna tap into that ND, then, FX6 is the way to go for me. Okay, so in case everyone doesn't know, the main purpose of this conversation is to talk about the Nikon ZR. It's a camera that is fairly new, came out last year. It's been something that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while just to play with and learn more about it. So I figured for this discussion, I'd bring in someone who has spent a lot more time with the camera and knows a lot more than I do about it, so we could all answer your questions and any thoughts and, ideas you have about the camera and just kinda get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah,
So let's talk about before we dive into the specs and all that, like, let's just talk about the form factor of this. It has a really, really large screen, the largest that I've seen on, a device this size. Has all the main imports that you would need, the mini HDMI. Do you find that to be a hindrance, the HDMI size not having full, or have you gotten used to it, or how are you handling or dealing with that?
I've had the camera a day before it was officially released, and I have yet to put a monitor attached to this camera. It really and it kind of
Interesting.
surprised me because I'm
That
like,
surprises me.
it doesn't make any sense, but I just haven't needed to have a monitor on
Yeah.
there. Like I think now the only reason I would put one on there is to impress a client, is to make it look a little bit bigger. But I'm able to get focus now. If I'm shooting, well, I'm sure we'll get to this in your questioning, but if I'm shooting in R3D,
Mhm.
yeah, I will attach a monitor to it because for some reason, um, focus assist doesn't work
Okay.
when you're shooting in that codec. So if I do want to get critical focus when shooting R3D, I will turn that on.
Okay, good to know.
Well, I'm sorry. I will put a
You
monitor
put a
on there.
monitor
But
on
there's
it.
LUTs. People have LUTs and stuff that kind of. I just don't deal with that. I just give me a monitor with focus peaking on it, and then I'm good to go. But most times, mm-mm, it
Okay,
doesn't bother me. Yeah.
okay, that's good to know. And then talk to me about, like, the form factor. So, I have fairly small hands, so even for me, it feels a little awkward just how flat the grip is, but I'm just curious, how do you feel about that? Is that an issue at all for you? Do you have any workarounds? I'm sure you have cages and stuff, but I'm just curious. are you even using it handheld? How do you feel about the overall like feel of the camera itself?
Um, I'm gonna say this. This camera is not is not like a competitor to the FX3. It's
Okay.
this camera is, I personally believe this camera was just created for content. I don't think it was created for the way we're using it. You know, we like to take a camera and just turn it into something else, but I just don't think that this camera was made that way. With that being said, the grip sucks. You know, the grip is sucks. So I hold on, let me see. I have two actually,
Mm,
and the first one has the small rig cage on it.
okay.
And I like this cage. This is the first. I think they made a second version now, but this is their first version. And this bump right here makes holding it a way better experience. I got huge hands. Like my
Mm,
hands are huge, so I need I need the grip. There's no way for me to operate this camera without a cage that has at least a half cage grip on it. So this is
gotcha.
that one. And then Condor Blue finally released theirs, and I really do like this one. I love this grip
Uh,
better than the small rig grip. Now, small rig looks a little beefier at the bottom,
mhm.
but I don't know, man. The materials are different. I love the ridges of the
Yeah,
Condor Blue one. So it just to each his own. Yeah, like I said, I got huge hands, so you know my experience might be different than someone else's. But you cannot operate this camera without some type of
the grip.
grip. You
Yeah,
need it.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that Condor blue one. I didn't even know that that existed, so that's fire, and it has a
The
nice
cool
premium feel to it.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Condor Blue cage, and this is not sponsored. I had to
Yeah,
buy mine like everyone else, but it's like a four-part cage, so you can take, like, see how I don't have the top plate on here, but it
right.
comes with one. You can actually put it on here. You can put the other plate on here if you want all four sides of the thing
Mm,
covered. But the way I got it right now is just with the L. I have the bottom with the Arca Swiss part, and then I just have the side plate just for the grip. With this one, you got all four sides covered.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's different,
Okay, that's fire.
definitely.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comment. I did see one from Nikki Calvin's studio. We'll get to the questions a little bit later towards the middle, but if you guys do have questions, drop them in and we'll definitely aim to get to those. Okay, so a couple more things about the body. People have had discussions about the memory card slot being on the bottom. Just from someone who uses it, daily, weekly, how has that been for you? Is it really a big deal? Is it annoying? Is it fine? Are you using the micro? Are you only using CF Express Type B? What has your experience been with this memory card positioning?
It's fine. I've never
Okay.
had a problem because I use it on. I mean, you have an Arca Swiss plate on it. Like as long
Mhm.
as you're using an Arca Swiss mount, this is never covered. Or if it is, you slide it to the side, you open
Mhm.
it up, and you take it out. Like I have it. I don't know. I mean, like with their cameras are very finicky and picky, so I
Yeah.
get it being different, being an annoyance to some people. But I've been using it every week, for the past 3 months or 4 months, and it has been a problem.
Nice. Okay. That's good to
Yeah,
know. All right.
yeah. And I use Type B, Type B.
CF Express Type
Where's it at?
B. Yeah.
Yeah, CF Express Type B by a company called Belkin.
Belkin. Okay, cool. What's the
Yeah,
smallest like card size you usually keep in there?
2 terabytes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was expecting
yeah,
like a 512 or a 1. Okay, 2 TBs.
no,
Okay.
no. It would annoy you. It would annoy you because it'll fill up pretty quick, because of the file sizes. So I've already had those cards for the Komodo, so it just made sense. It
Mm.
just and I had the Fujifilm X-H2S, so that those cards I already had.
Okay, copy that. That makes sense. And so
Yeah,
that
so it
that's a
wasn't
great
a new investment.
Nice. That is a great transition into the next part, which is talking about, like, file sizes. So talk to me 90% of the time, what file size and format are you shooting in? Are you doing, like, Red Raw all the time and, like, 6K OpenGate? Are you shooting in 4K most of the time? What's, like, a typical corporate shoot? What are those, like, spec requirements that are, like, your go-to?
It's a tough question. Um, I try. It's so crazy because I'm probably the only person in the world that has this camera that's going to say this, but I try not to shoot R3D
Okay.
if I have a long corporate shoot that's they're going to be talking for hours or whatever. I try not to shoot R3D. I my workaround is shooting in Nikon RAW and then converting to R3D in post. And it's a
Never thought of
really simple way to do it. Now it's not R3D,
Uh-huh.
so it's let's just get that clear. It's more of the way DaVinci handles the file once it reads it. So if you take all like this is my workflow. I copy my files over to an SSD, and then in the folder that has those files, I highlight them all, and then I tell the Mac in the Finder window to change the extension from NEV to R3D. Once it does that, DaVinci reads it as a red file. So
Mm.
it puts it into the IPP color space. It puts it into the right gamma color space. It puts it, everything. It reads it as a red file. So once I do that, I'm able to now treat it as such in DaVinci. So I can use my red LUTs. And the benefit to this, because people are like, well, what's the benefit? You still have RAW. You still have 12-bit RAW, right? And even though it's Nikon's RAW, but it's still 12-bit RAW. You have a smaller file size, 4 times smaller, like file
Mm.
size, because if you select normal mode versus the high mode in your, I think it's in looking in it right now. Okay, yep. So if you go to video type, you type in RAW, and then from there you scroll down a little bit, and it's gonna ask you video quality. Right there it says high quality, and everyone's gonna choose high quality. But if you choose high quality, right
So,
here,
alright, so on this menu, you're saying you select NRAW, right? That's where you're
yep,
starting first? Okay. And then next to NRAW, it says, like, SDR or SDR, is that correct? Or no, SDR or NLOG?
in log
Okay,
always.
always,
Yep,
okay,
yep, in log always. That's your tone mode. And then when you
okay.
okay out of that and you scroll down, two options below that is
Video
video
quality.
quality. I
Got
choose normal.
Oh, you choose
There's no
normal there.
there's no
Okay.
reason, yeah, there's no reason to bump up that data rate for a regular standard 1080 deliverable to your client, even a 4K deliverable to your client. There's no reason to go higher than that, right? Unless you want, I don't know, I don't know why, but for client stuff, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. I tried both.
Right.
There's no difference. I don't physically see a difference. My computer handles the normal file size better than it handles the high quality file size, way better. It renders faster. And the file size you'll have at like 336 megabytes versus 1700, from the regular raw or R3D file size. So that's why I do it. So if I got a corporate shoot that I have to edit, um, I'm choosing that. If I have a corporate shoot that I have to hand over the files,
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, I'm probably just going to shoot in ProRes, not ProRes RAW, just regular ProRes HQ.
Okay.
And if I'm taking the Komodo X, I'm putting that on ProRes as well.
Copy that. That's good to know. So with ProRes, let's take a look here in the menu. So video file type instead of and raw, you would go down to ProRes 422 HQ. And for that, you can also select N log as well. Okay.
Yep.
So
That's
SDR,
the
what does that mean for us that aren't familiar with that? That's like color baked in or like
color
standard?
baked in.
Okay,
Yes, pretty
gotcha.
much standard picture product, a picture profile. You know, that I wouldn't. I guess it's comparable. Sony cameras do have that as well. I know a Cinetone is way better than what that SDR would be on
Mhm.
a Sony camera, but yeah, I don't use SDR for that type of client delivery. However, I do use SDR for like if I have a retainer client and all day I shoot restaurant content for them. And there's nothing that's gonna be blown out. There's no harsh shadows, plenty of daylight coming through the big windows that they have. So I don't even really use light. And they want a fast, I mean,
Turnaround.
they want their files that night. So SDR is just the best way to do it. We ran some tests. I got a couple of SDR profiles that I kind of dialed in the settings because you can go into the curves and shadows and all that other stuff and just kind of dial it in the way you want. And I have some picture profiles that's kind of set on the camera. And for her, I use that. If I'm shooting YouTube content or Instagram, I use SDR.
Okay, ProRes SDR. Mm,
Any,
mm.
I'll use regular Nikon log. I mean Nikon HD Nikon H.265. I'll use that.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
yeah, when people
SDR.
okay. I feel like I've heard mixed things about H.265. But if we're using so for the tone mode for H.265, we have 3 options: SDR, HLOG, HLG,
You
and
really
NLOG.
only got one.
Okay. NLOG.
Nah. If,
It's
if
not
you're if
NLOG.
you're gonna shoot, no, it's there, but like, don't use it.
So if we are doing H.265, you're saying what, HLG or standard?
Me, if you're shooting for a client and that client needs H.265, don't use that camera.
Okay, so don't even okay, we don't talk about H.265. Okay, gotcha,
It's not there.
gotcha.
You have the DJI Osmo.
Pocket 3, yeah.
I think it was, not the Pocket, the Action 5.
I have the I I have one of the actions. I do have some type of action.
So I remember last year with the Action 5, it had the same problem. The H.265 was not detailed at all, and they pushed out a firmware update and they made it better. This is what Nikon has to do for H.265 here because it's just not. I have the Nikon Z8
Mhm.
fire camera. It's 2 years old, but it still packs a freaking punch. The H.265 in here is perfect. It's
Mm,
extremely detailed, sharp. There's nothing mushy about it. It's not money. I mean, it's not muddy. The sensor that's in this camera is the same sensor that's in the Nikon Z6 Mark III. Their H.265, perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. But for some reason in this camera, the H.265, it's just not detailed. So
mm,
I don't recommend people use it. If you're gonna do a client shoot, use ProRes HQ and use it in log or any of the raw file formats. But I would not recommend. Now, there's some people that's going to say, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad for social,
mm,
possibly, but you don't really care." You
yeah,
just you gotta push out content, or you have a client that just doesn't care. They're
right,
just they're more in tune with, look, we just gotta feed the beast. We need 30 pieces of content. Like they don't even look at it. Like they have a content house that posts for them, that schedules posts, and they don't care. Go for it. But if it's for a client that's really looking for quality, nah, I don't recommend it right now.
gotcha. Okay.
That's the truth.
No, no, no,
That's the
the truth
truth.
is the truth, that's what we want, that's what we're here for. So
Mhm.
let's dive a little bit into audio. Have you been taking advantage of the 32-bit flow in here, or do you typically run your audio into a separate audio recorder or a little bit of both? What's your audio situation?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Um, I got a retainer with a pretty large church here in Houston, and I pretty much run everything into the camera.
Okay.
And I use the Hollyland Lark Max 2s.
Love
So
those.
they have 32-bit float internal, of course, right? And I still keep pressing record on the thing just to record that backup track that you always talking about.
Yep.
But it's going straight into the camera, and it always sounds good.
Okay. That's what's
It
up.
always sounds good. Yeah, it sounds great. So yeah.
Nice. And then I noticed there's a little bit of a zoom rocker here. I actually haven't played with this much, so but I know on the FX3, the zoom rocker can give you a little bit of an optical zoom or digital zoom, or if you have a servo zoom lens, you can actually just control that. So I'm just curious if you've used this zoom rocker at all and what your experience has been with it.
I have it mine programmed just for critical focus. So I only use it for that, but you could
Okay.
program it for like zooming in.
Mm,
I don't shoot like that, so yeah, so I don't use it that way. And I haven't used the Nikon Servo 24 to 105 cinema lens. I haven't used that yet. So
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Um,
I only use it for focus.
Okay, copy that. I think someone asked what's a good lens. Oh, yeah, a good lens for photo and video. I don't know if you even dabble in photo at all. Um,
I shoot photos. I just
okay,
don't
talk to
advertise
me.
it.
Okay, talk
But
to me. So what's a good all-arounder lens for photo and video? And then we could kind of dive into how the photo portion of the camera has been for you.
all right, I'm about to get it right now for you. All right, so my lens is this 24 to 70
Okay,
f2.8 version
nice.
2. The absolute, and I hate to say the best. I hate the word. I hate the this is the best. But for me, this has been the GOAT lens. I use this lens 95% of the time.
Mm,
It's a very expensive lens, and it's the version 2. I've rented the version 1. It's still great, still optically a great lens. I think there's probably also no optical difference. But this is the first and only zoom lens that doesn't protrude. So you can zoom from
mm.
24 to 70 and it stays the same. So I use this on
Ah,
my gimbal all the time. And they just came out with a
nice.
70 to 200, which is the same way. So
Yeah, you're right.
that is
Cause
my
this
bread and butter lens.
Yeah, cause this one goes
See, yeah,
oh, okay, Nikon, I see. That's fire.
yeah. So that's fire. And if you can only get one,
24 to
that's
70.
bread for it. Yeah, it's that 24 to 70 Mark II.
Okay.
It's special.
And what lens is your go-to for video production? Like, what are a lens or 2 that you find yourself always using? For me, I know it's the 35. I'm just always gonna use the 35 on pretty much all of my interview shoots, but I don't know what's the case for you.
I've been 35, yeah, but I've been moving towards 50.
Mm,
50 and 85 has been my lenses of choice.
okay.
Mainly because of the compression that I just like from a 50. I wish they had a 40 because I would probably shoot there all the time instead of 35. 35 is cool, and I've grew up doing interviews on 35s, but there's something that 50 is just this where I everyone sees, like you see in that almost in that focal length. But having a 40 is like the middle between both. So that's like the best of both worlds. But
Mm.
yeah, 50 and 40, 50 and 85 are my go-tos. But I'm telling you, this like this is all you need. Like you have any focal length in here and nothing protrudes. Like that's the best part. Like nothing comes out.
Mm.
You can So yeah. Anyways,
No,
yeah,
that's clutch,
50 and
I get it.
85.
It makes balancing just such a breeze, you don't have to keep readjusting the gimbal, so that's really, really dope. So back to I definitely had a question. What was I gonna ask about? Um, oh, talk to me a little bit about photo, like switching from video to photo. How quick is that? And I guess what are your, I guess, go-to settings for shooting with photo? I'm guessing you're doing like JPEG and RAW as well, but I'm just curious a little bit about your photo workflow.
Photo is fire. It just works. It's fast. The second I hit this button right here to switch from video to photo, you're in photo. It
Mhm.
doesn't. You're just in photo. It doesn't cut off and then takes forever to cut back on. You're in photo mode, and I have two custom photo settings, but I'll pretty much stay in one. And I'm shooting JPEG and RAW, and I have my JPEGs going to the micro SD card that's in here. So I had
Mm,
the JPEGs going there, and I had the RAW going to the Type B card. And yeah, that's pretty much how I use it. And the photos are actually pretty good. I use it a lot for the church that
gotcha.
I'm a retainer for, and yeah, it just works. And I don't use this lens when I do that. I actually use a 24 to 120 f4 lens. That lens is goated. It's an f4, but for photos, especially nowadays when Lightroom and Capture One can clean up
Mhm.
noise
So much better,
and
yeah.
make it look like a brand new photo, like yeah. So I kind of live with that lens on the camera for those types of jobs.
And are you ever using a flash? I can't remember, does the Nikon take a flash or
I don't think this
okay.
uses, maybe they pushed the firmware for it, but I don't think this uses a flash. But I
Okay.
use the Z8. When I gotta use anything
Ah,
flash,
use
this
the
is the GOAT. This is 48 megapixels or something like that. And this is, if I gotta do straight photography only, it's this camera right here.
got you, got you. Let's see, someone a question popped in. Have you used this body for long shoots, primarily live stream? I don't know. Have you ever live streamed with any of your Nikon cameras? Me
No.
neither, yeah. I haven't haven't
No.
streamed this with mine as
No.
well. If anything, I've sent it to
I
like a
can't even
YOLO
answer
file.
that.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about gamma assist. So on the FX3, if I'm shooting in S log and I kind of just want to get a preview of Rec 709, I could set a button to like toggle gamma assist, or I can set a button to toggle on the LUT to like quickly check it out. Is there an equivalent of that on the Nikon?
There is, and you can set up one of your buttons here at the top to
Hmm.
do any one of those features. I don't know if it's all blurry here because my face is in
Gotcha.
the way. There it goes. So yeah, you can set up any one of these to do that.
But what is
I
that
don't
setting?
necessarily do that myself,
Okay.
but
Okay.
and you'll go into your camera, you go into the pencil, well, menu, pencil, controls, and then customize menu. It's one of those
Okay.
customized buttons there.
Bet. Okay, so I'm
Yep.
gonna try that out. Custom
And the menu
control.
system sucks. So, you know,
Oh. I didn't think it was too,
for
too bad,
me,
actually. I didn't think it was
because
too
you're a
bad.
Sony shooter, you're a Sony person.
Oh,
So, you
we
know,
just used to crazy menus. Yeah, I feel you, I feel
their
you.
menu, yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
coming
guess
from like
uh-huh.
Black Magic. The
Mm,
Komodo's not, the Komodo's easy camera to operate. Like red cameras are extremely easy to operate. So, when I had to go to like a hybrid style body and get involved in that menu system, it's a little hectic for me. But once I customize things, then I don't have to keep going in to those menus. But yeah,
gotcha. And does the Komodo, I feel like I was on set one time and this guy's Komodo didn't really have a traditional audio input, or like I couldn't get
no,
audio
it
in.
doesn't. It has a well, if he, I'm not sure which version he had,
Okay.
but there is an audio input on the X, but it doesn't. It's not like a regular 3.5. You got to have a certain converter or an adapter. So I have an
Okay.
XLR adapter on the Komodo. So any type of audio, I'll run right through there, and then is everything is time code. Like
Mm.
I don't typically run audio into the Komodo. I'll just use time code.
Okay, copy that. And
Yeah.
speaking of time code, I know there was a recent update for the Nikon that added time code functionality. I'm not sure the specific how it works, but I think you can plug in, I think it's like the 3.5 to have it pick it up and then it'll keep it in. I don't know if you've experimented with that at all.
I use it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. I do have an issue with it. The issue is once you plug it up into the 3.5, it's using both channels. It turns it into, I don't know if it's turning into like mono or whatever, but it's taking both channels, which means um this mic right here, this shotgun mic that's designed to work, um it's designed to work without cables,
Mhm.
just like the Sony version is, and I
Yeah, the
think
ECM
Panasonic has
and
something like that too.
yeah.
Once you hook this up to the camera, it just works. You turn it on,
Mm.
and the second you hit record, it records. You can, say which side you want it to pick up, this side, or all sides. Um, but if you turn on the my deity TC1, I'll plug that in. I'll have it mounted on the side. I'll plug it right into the 3.5. This stops working.
Gotcha.
So I addressed it. I reached out, and hopefully that gets addressed. They figure out a way. Now the workaround is Mutiny made a device like a time code splitter, and you can mount it on the side or wherever on your
Mhm.
rig. Then then you can plug up your TC1 into one of those ports, and then it will save the other port for your mic. So that's the only
Mm.
workaround. So there is a workaround, but I don't like workaround. I just want, I
Yeah,
want
just
my
want it to
stuff
work.
just small. This
Yeah.
Let's make it this small, compact. I don't want to keep building, because if that's the case, I gotta bring my red. Like, why
Yeah.
bring that?
Facts that, what's the point, keep it small. Nah, I
What's
feel
the
you
point?
100% on that. I mean, I have to there's so much, like, to play with and experiment and even try in, such a short period of time. Um, and so you have the Red, you have the Nikon, and you said sometimes you go on shoots and you do use the FX3. Is that one that you have, or that's just what the production is using for those particular shoots?
No, I don't have any Sony cameras.
Okay.
It's if a client, most times it's an agency,
Okay.
and they'll, when they hire us, they'll tell us what, like, sometimes they'll just ask what our camera packages are. I'll tell them. Most time I try to beat them to it and find out, like, what is the deliverable you're looking for. If you're looking for log, or you're looking for a specific log, or like, what is
Mhm.
your editing team working with normally. I'll say that question first,
Okay.
and then if they say, oh, it's this, we don't care. I think they need log. When they say I think, then I just keep it at that. I'll just use whatever camera I want to use. But a lot of times they're very specific, and they'll need S log, and so then we'll just rent them.
Okay.
Rental houses are right around the corner from us, and this is a big community here in Houston of a lot of FX6 and FX3 operator owners, and they have their cameras on share grid. I got all their numbers and stuff. So every time I need an FX6, I just rent it.
Nice. That's what's up. How do you feel about the low light performance on the Nikon ZR? And do you abide by only filming in a specific the base ISOs like 800 and 6400?
The low light is actually pretty good. We shot, me and one of my colleagues, we shot at night at it's like a kind of like a club, kind of, but they rented the entire place as company, for a huge conference. And everyone that came in and flew in for this conference, they went to this place, and they had drinks and dancing and all this stuff going on. And it was at night, open, no roof. And at 6400, shooting at 4K 60, it was still nice.
Hmm.
You know, and with was I with this lens? No, I think I had it was a 35 in the 85
Okay.
in the 135. So I had like three different lenses. They were all like f1.8, on the aperture, and yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty clean. 6400, 800. When I'm shooting in R3D, that's where I stay.
Okay.
Will it make a difference if you deviate it from that? No. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, there's noise in the shadows and there's weird artifacts." I have yet to see that when I deviate from it, but I've always learned to just film at the base ISOs. It's
Hmm.
just something that I've done ever since Black Magic camera. So
Bet. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So a few more questions before we wrap out. We definitely want to make sure we wrap up by noon. Talk to me a little bit about like your post workflow. So I haven't brought this footage into DaVinci yet. I need to go ahead and figure that out. But in terms of like, I know you changed the extensions to Red Raw, so in all your settings. But in terms of, like, the go-to in terms of, like, what your color space is, and then I think there's, like, a gamut, and then I think there's, like, a timeline. DaVinci is a little bit way above me, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm just curious, if you have something you could bring up or if you could just know from memory, like, what you typically hit for working with, like, Nlog and or Red Raw footage in DaVinci specifically.
Nah, DaVinci. I've been working with DaVinci for 6 years, and it's
Oh,
gotten better over the course of 6 years. When you drop in your R3D and you go into DaVinci and you set it, everything into your bins, and you're getting ready to build your timeline. When you go into your color part of it and you select clip, everything's done for you. Like it puts it
mm,
in every space that you need. It puts it in the right IPP pipe. They call it the IPP pipeline. They put it into that pipeline, and everything is already done. So
nice.
now you'll see all of your sliders for shadows, highlights, roll off, like all that stuff. You'll see right there, and then that's when you start, you know, adjusting. I use a specific LUT that I'm not going to name,
Okay.
but but no, no, I use Phantom LUTs.
Me
Phantom LUTs
too.
are the
I have
like
the
to me,
set.
yeah,
Yeah, I purchased
yeah,
the
the
set for
best.
my camera as well, so I
It's
might have to
it's
go back
it's
and
cheap
get the Nikon set too, because now I got this to play with.
cheap,
Facts.
cheat code. Now the issue is he hasn't created it for the in-law yet.
Okay. Copy that.
Yeah, he's working on it. He's been taking footage from everybody. I've sent him some footage too, so he's going to be creating it. But Buttery Lutz makes a really cool one for in-law.
Nice. Coolio.
Yeah.
Alright. So now,
Someone
we
said,
can
"What
jump.
about Final Cut?" I don't know anything about the Final Cut uh
Ooh.
workflow. I
I
haven't used Final Cut in years.
Oh my goodness, I just used it yesterday, man. I edited my whole Adamus series in Final Cut. Um,
Mm,
and I
I
have
wouldn't
to,
even know how
like,
to use it.
I know, I have to play around with it because the new version, like, once I dropped in my S-Log footage, it just kinda, like, added the color automatically, and I'm like, "Wait, hold on," and yeah, but there's a setting you could turn off, or there's something you could turn on where it figures out the color space and just automatically adds it. So, but you could toggle that on and off,
Oh,
but it's very, very simple and easy in Final Cut, but I need to figure out the DaVinci equivalent, and I need to figure out how to edit red in Final Cut if that's even possible, because I brought it in and I wasn't seeing the clip, so I need to make sure I have all the right codecs.
I
Okay,
think
so
I
mhm.
think there's a plugin for that because Brandon or Washington he edits in Final Cut, and I think he said something about there's a plugin or something
Yeah, I'll
that you
probably
can
have
use
to
for it.
download something. All right, now to some of the questions that people posted when I was like, "What are your ZR questions?" Talk to
Okay,
us about your lens collection. What Nikon lenses do you have?
I only have three Nikon lenses.
Oh,
I got
wow. Okay. I
yeah,
know why I thought you probably had, like, a whole spread. Okay, that's very interesting.
I got three Nikon lenses: 35, 24 to 70 f 2.8, and the 24 to 105. And
Mm.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I went through this whole thing where I just switched to Nikon. Like I literally like just switched to Nikon. So
You were on
I
red, right, before
changed.
that, right?
I was mostly red and Fujifilm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of Fujifilm shooting and red Komodo shooting, and then before that, I was with the C70 on Canon. So I always like I don't stay places too long, because I get bored. So I said, let me just switch over to this, and I switched over to this because I'm wanna in the I'm staying with red. Like red is the final destination for me.
Okay.
But I want to switch my Komodo out for the Z mount version
Okay.
of red. So it made sense to now get the ZR as a secondary or third camera angle or whatever because I could use these lenses on the red.
Mm,
So I don't have to use like cinema lenses all the time. I can use these lenses and be happy. So I don't have a lot of lenses. I rent certain lenses for certain jobs, but a lot of documentary work that I do, I don't need a lot of lenses. It's just it becomes cumbersome.
gotcha. And I feel you 100% on that. Let's see what else. Someone just briefly asked if I have the ZR. I have a loaner ZR, so I'm not keeping this one. Uh, Fortunately and unfortunately, I haven't spent enough time to know, you know, where I have to like hold on to it is yet. So we'll see how much closer I could get. But let's see.
It
Someone
took
said,
over a month for this camera to grow on me.
okay.
It wasn't love at first sight. It wasn't none of that stuff. It took a minute for it to grow on me.
Okay, well, we'll
Yeah.
see how much growing is gonna happen in between. I think the hardest part with getting accustomed to a new camera is like just figuring out the key settings that you need to know to do the basics. Like for me, just having the gamma assist and understanding the recording formats and which one to use. Um, and even though I'm not an editor per se, I think knowing the editing process is helpful because that's how you can guide the client sometimes when they have questions. So and if any S-Log questions come up, I'm like, oh, do this, use this LUT, change that. But with this, I'm a little bit more nervous or apprehensive because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this whole R3D thing. So I gotta figure that out and get comfortable there before I start implementing it
Yeah.
more. But I did do a small shoot. I brought it on set with me, so I have some R3D footage that I'm gonna play with. So I'm gonna look at some videos to figure out the whole color space transform because again, I gotta figure that out.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see.
pretty
Someone
simple too. You're gonna DM me. You're gonna be like, bro, it
okay.
was easy.
All
The
right,
second you put in a DaVinci, you don't gotta do anything.
okay, bet. All right, I'm gonna hold you to it. Someone asked, and I probably could have tested this out, but I didn't. But can you record to both cards at the same time? I don't know if you ever.
No. Well, no,
Okay.
no. That the micro SD card. I don't honestly. It's just one of those cards that's just there. Like you forget that it's there.
Mm,
Like the way you gotta put it in your head is that it's not there. It's
okay.
just not there. You're really working with your Type B, CFast Express Type B card, and that's it. Because you
Mm,
can't do anything with that card. Now in photography, yeah, you have options where you can, like I said, I put all my JPEGs to that card, but it's just there. Like I remember one time I forgot my Type B card. I was rushing, I forgot it. I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? But then I remembered I had that card in there, so I was able to film. Um, I don't know if it was ProRes. I think it was ProRes. I was able to film ProRes HQ to that card, and it saved my butt.
nice. That's what's up. Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
For me, my backup is like the Adamus. It's like just record to the monitor, and you have your backup there too. So
Yep.
I know that you have worked with the FX3 and the FX6. Do you have a preference for either the FX3 or FX6 or the ZR in certain situations? Like, is there a certain situation that comes to mind where you're like, oh, Z, I definitely want the FX3 over the Nikon? Or because of your familiarity and what you know about the camera, do you feel like you would always choose the Nikon over something like specifically the FX6 or the FX3?
I want to. I'll answer that like this. Someone DM'd me and it's like, "Hey, bro, like I got an opportunity to get the FX3, but I'm thinking, man, I'm seeing you doing all this stuff with the ZR. Which one would you get?" And I told him to get the FX3.
Okay.
If you're working, um, and you need like that workhorse that has no real compromises, then it's the FX3 all the time. And the reason also is it's just not the same type of camera.
Mm,
Like this is a very powerful camera for the price.
right.
It has a great sensor. You got 6K, which is pretty. Like you don't need much. Like to do corporate video stuff, you need like at least 4K. This has good colors. It got great autofocus. It's small. Um, it has good heat dissipation in here. What they put
Mhm.
something in here that keeps this thing from overheating. I've saw tests where people like try to throw it in the oven and it still didn't overheat. Gerald Undone did a video. He could not get this thing to overheat,
Has it
but
ever
he's always
overheat
looking for
on
the
you? I'm guessing no.
never.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
wonderful.
This Z8, the card got hot in this, and I got a card is hot warning. Just shooting H.265, but I've never gotten a warning on this. And I live in Houston. Now it hasn't been hot yet. It's coming. But no, I haven't gotten any overheating thing. So like if I had both cameras and I owned the FX3, it would come out with me all the time.
Facts. Gotcha. Okay.
It would just come out with me all the time. And that's not saying it's a better image or any of that stuff. It's just saying that this camera still has a long way to go. It
Mm,
still has several firmware updates that it needs. It's still, this is their first version of
right.
this type of technology. I'm betting, and I'll bet my entire career on the next version of this.
It's
I think
gonna
it's
be
gonna be
a
fire.
monster. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
yeah. I think the
problem.
next version is gonna be nuts. But right
Yeah.
now, I would pick the FX3 on most cases. On most cases. But if I do want that red look, which
Mhm.
I am accustomed to, like I didn't want to be biased, but if I could be a little bit biased, I'm accustomed to the red look. I love how the Komodo X and the Raptor looks. So because of that, this would be the secondary little brother to that big brother all the time. If
Mm.
I had to take one camera and I had the FX3 here and the ZR here, client says, come out, I have two 24 to 70s, and then it's like, this is all I need, I'm grabbing the FX3.
Copy that. Have you ever shot with both of them at the same time and had to mix them or not really?
Yeah, just recently we had to figure it out. Yeah, it was like I called it all cars on the job that was just last minute. We didn't have time to get to the rental house. The rental place was closed. The job was in the morning, and then I had my friends come out that had one FX3, one FX30. I had the Komodo, and I had one of these, and then we used this for photography, and I had to match them all. And it was easier for me to match the Komodo and the ZR to the Sony footage than it was for me to match the Sony footage to this.
Okay, yes. I received that. I hear that 100%.
Yeah,
Copy that.
yeah.
Are you ever shooting in 6K like 0% of the time, 10% of the time? Open gate?
Yeah. Well, no open gate. There's
Okay.
no open gate on this
Oh yeah,
camera,
no, but yeah, the
which is
6K.
which is still a miss. But I don't care. Like I'm not a big. I don't shoot anamorphic. I don't shoot. You know, it doesn't matter to me about the open gate part. I see how helpful it is, but that part doesn't matter. But 6K, I shoot in a lot.
Okay.
I shoot in a lot. And storage, I saw someone post something about storage and how I deal with it. It's just the cost of doing business. Like I have the space. I don't hold on to files at all. Like I'll hold on to client project files that were part of that project, but anything that we trimmed, I don't keep.
Mm,
So I've never kept it. I've been 8 years in, never needed to keep it. Um, I had one client to this day that pays me quarterly to hold their footage. I'm their holding bank for their footage because they
right.
wanted the raw and all this other stuff. So they had to pay me in order to keep that. But I don't keep files like that, which is rare. I guess a lot of people do keep all their stuff. And yeah, you'll need the space, but nah, it doesn't bother me. I got enough of these, even though they're hot commodities right now. I have enough
Mhm.
of these where I can edit off of these, and then I delete what I don't need, and then I'll back up everything on both of my drives that I have, my RAID system drive. So
Nice. Okay. And do you have like a cold storage devices too as well, or just the RAID and the SSD?
I got Backblaze.
Okay.
I keep everything. Yeah, so
Okay.
Backblaze, we'll do that like once a week,
Yeah, I
and
have that on my
those
computer
files.
as well. Yep. Fire.
Yeah, it's such a. I didn't have it before, and something happened, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
like it
lifesaver
just
when you
stressed
need
that.
it.
Oh my god! So I tell everybody, get some type of off-site back. A backplace is extremely cheap.
Yeah, agree. And then you said you trim it, so whatever the export is, you keep the clip without the beginning and the end, just that part that was used, you just keep all of those clips of the raw footage, or do
I
you
keep
just keep,
all of
like, the
those. Yeah, yeah,
copy that. Okay,
yeah.
cool, that's good
And
to know.
DaVinci has a way where I can just kind of migrate all of that into a folder,
Mm,
and that stuff stays stored. And I'll hold on to it for probably about a year, and then I'll delete that too if I can remember to go back in. If I need the space, it's going. I'm going backwards and
I
I'm
gotta
taking
get
that out.
better I gotta get better at that. I know the chef boy is like, "Listen, you gotta let it go," and I was like, "Ah!" So I
Got
feel you.
gotta let it go.
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, like if the client ever wants it back and they want to do something with that footage, right? Yeah, they can hire you and you'll get them with an editing fee. But I'd rather say, oh man, you should have paid for that. But we can come out there and shoot some more.
right.
So now I'm getting them on the shoot and a new editing,
Facts,
fee.
facts.
So
Now
that's what I do, like me personally. So and then most times, honestly, the way it's been working is like a lot of clients don't like corporate clients, they don't want that because most times if we're filming staff, they may not even be working there anymore.
mhm,
And they don't want them in any type of new marketing material. So
that makes sense. Alright, dope.
yeah.
Any final thoughts you wanna add about the Nikon, good or bad or anything?
No, see, I'm put it this way. I haven't really subscribed to a brand since Fujifilm.
Yeah,
Like
and what
every other
made you get
camera,
Fuji though?
I love the colors.
Okay.
I love the colors of Fuji. So I mean, like to this day, I think the colors are so unique. People buy lenses and they get these special coloring workflows just to change their color from a basic Rex over the 9 to something else.
Mm,
Fuji, most of Fujifilm's color science is already something else. So you don't have to work so hard to get a certain look from a Fuji camera. That being said, um, work cameras are different than me just loving a Fuji film camera because the workflow wise, it just wasn't working out for me. So
mhm.
I've always kept it as a thing, but I've always had a main camera for my workflow. And I haven't subscribed to any. The C70 was a great camera, but I didn't subscribe to Canon.
Mm,
Black Magic, the Pocket 6K, great camera, but I wasn't a Black Magic person. You know,
mm,
and then Red, yeah, I became a Red person. But that introduced me to this. If I
mm,
wasn't a Red person, I would have never picked up this camera.
got
I would
you.
have never picked up the camera. I would have just stayed with what I wanted. And now I'm subscribed to it. This is a really good camera. The lenses are great. Nikon, I believe, is going getting to a place where they're like, all right, it's like a Creed or a Rocky film. It's like they were always like down, and now you hear the music playing, and
They
you
coming up
hear
with
the old man like, get up, Rocky, and they're coming back, and I think they're in the game now, which is cool, and it's great for us as consumers. And I subscribe to it. Once I bought this lens, I'm in. Like you don't buy a 24-70 and then want to skip into another brand just because another camera comes out. Once you buy
Right.
this, you're staying. And this lens is so good with this camera and with the Z8. Anyone that's looking for a camera that's 4K, 6K, grid autofocus, small and compact, big behind screen, and they don't want to spend over $2,500, this is the camera to get.
Mhm.
And I tell people that without blinking, this is the camera to get. I call this the modern day Pocket 6K. Remember when the
Mm,
Pocket came out and it was all
yeah,
weird, but it was so affordable, and for the money you got raw, you got all this stuff into this small camera. I think this is the modern day version of that.
yeah.
And you got autofocus and it takes photos. So like that's what I tell people. But if this is your only camera and you're using it for work and you got some pretty big things coming up, not yet.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah,
Not
they've
yet.
come a long way, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. Even Blackmagic, if Blackmagic added autofocus, that also would also kinda be a wrap in a certain in a way, and if they add the
Mhm.
low light as well, so it's just it's very interesting space, like you said, it's really good for creators, there's a lot of options to choose right now, and I think for a lot of the brands that are maybe comfortable with their user base, they really have to think about, the next generation. Like, what are they gonna wanna pick up? Are they gonna wanna go for the $4,000 camera or the $2,000 camera? So, and if they wanna keep us, like you said, you going wherever the best setup is for what your production is. So I think the brands, all these other brands, they gotta step up. So I'm excited to see what comes next. I appreciate you taking an hour to chat with me and
No, this
everyone
was
that's
fun.
there. Yeah, no, this was cool. I definitely learned a lot. There's some things that I'm gonna go play with after this call. Like I definitely want to play with the photo mode some more. And I'm actually gonna be opening up DaVinci right after this because I shot some stuff and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna edit it.
Yeah,
So that'll be
yeah.
fun.
No, I gotta go into DaVinci too because I got a bunch of stuff I gotta edit. Oh my god.
All right,
I
thanks
just
so
made a
much.
post about anybody that wants to edit for me just for free. Just hit me up.
Facts, for real. You want to chop up some videos. I'm with it because
Yep.
editing takes up a lot of time. All
Yep.
right, cool. So I think we're in a good space
Right
to wrap
there.
this out. Brother Marcus, I appreciate you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
no,
your
nah, no
time.
worries. Yep.
I
Just let me
appreciate
know if you got any other questions that you want to hit me up on the side about this. Just hit me up.
Bet. And then I'm gonna drop your information in the chat. I think one or two people asked, so I'll pop that in there. And yeah, let me
Okay.
see if I can end this stream the right way. But thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care.